Okay, guys, I'll come back on here for a second. I could have sworn, according to the map, that there was a desert much closer than this that was in no man's land and therefore was free for me to do a little bit of sand mining. However, I've yet to find the darn thing. I'm in neutral territory here in between plots, so that much is okay, but still. Oops. Ding. 2,400 out, and I still haven't found it yet. So I'm well within... Well, I'm between Oplex and Dark Essence's plot, assuming he continues to play. Bug off! Now, this recording is going to have a double purpose. I actually intend to do a grind momentarily, but I thought I'd include some of this in the Project 1.3 episode, just because I'm in the midst of that, and it might be contextually interesting. But man, where's the desert? I mean, I really like this area. I also liked, as you saw a minute ago, the valley here, the valley that appeared. That was really neat, but not super helpful at the moment. Plus, there's lag. Oh my gosh, lag was something fierce. But yeah, I don't know. I need sand. I need lots and lots and lots of sand, and it's not presenting itself. Give me a desert. Okay, this is more like it. Okay, so yeah, like I said, this is pertinent to Project 1.3, or Project 1 Part 3. However, I now want to do a grind. This one will be from Monday of Christmas week. However, I'm going to talk about bigotry. And you might guess why. There's been all this talk lately about the Duck Dynasty guy, Phil Robertson, I believe. And it's been rough going on that topic this week. Ever since he's been suspended from his show temporarily, sort of for having given an interview to GQ wherein he said he didn't particularly care for sinners and some of their various fornications and drunkardness and things like that, and homophobia, things like that. But it's not a viewpoint I appreciate, but I went and read the GQ article before recording just to make sure that I wasn't going off on tangents that that were fueled by media. I mean, I let's see, 12:25. We'll end this in about 20 minutes. Give me a moment to think. How do I put this? Well, let me say, I have a very, I don't know if I'd call him Bible thumping, but definitely a very conservative and religious good friend I've known for a very, very long time now. Very genuine. I think he even watches these, but he and I do not see eye to eye on a good number of things. We see eye to eye on a great many other things, and even the things we don't see eye to eye, we often can find some kind of common ground where we both kind of want the same thing. We just don't necessarily agree how you go about it. And oh, geez. But one of the difficulties he and I always have, especially when it comes to things like, when it comes to anything religious, there's just no point because there is no evidence. There's no data to back up a sort of a religious viewpoint. It basically has to rely on faith. Like, I believe a certain thing. I have a lifelong education from, my church and my family that gives me reason to believe such a thing. Those who state it in those terms are perfectly acceptable to me because I understand that. That's perfectly fine. But to suggest, but there are some who go generally much farther than that and declare it as if it's a fact, even though they do not have the means of proving it. Nobody does. I mean, the book that they point to, and this could be the various books, not just the one we're probably both thinking of here. But the fact of the matter is, they say it was written, by divine hands, and even, or the Dead Sea Scrolls, even if those scrolls were in fact written by divine hands, which there is no evidence to support, by the way, but even if it were, the contents of those scrolls were then later decided upon, which ones would be included and which ones weren't, and whose gospels would be included and which ones wouldn't be, and there are quite a few that weren't. All that got to be decided by what was called the canon, basically a committee who got to decide what fit the narrative they wanted, and they are human. People will then claim, but they were divided. They were guided by divine intervention, and again, that's a complete leap of faith that has no supporting evidence. So, if you're going to have faith, then that's fine. I'm not going to take that away from you. It's not within my power, and it's not within my desire either, because I think a certain amount of faith, by the definition of the word, not in religious terms, is kind of required by existence. And maybe next time I'll get into my poop paradox, the point of origin paradox. I might have discussed it before, might not. It's interesting to me, but it requires faith, not necessarily religious faith, but faith, because ultimately we're all here existing, despite the fact that there's no good reason for that to be true. So, all that said, he and I don't often see eye to eye on things, and when trying to have debates or discussions or convincing one another of everything, we often cite data sources that the other one has never encountered before, and so people have to sort of split off and say, okay, that's new to me, I need to think about that, and that's actually a healthy thing to do. So that's one of the reasons why I put up with viewpoints he has that I don't understand, because he does take the time to actually go off and think, and oftentimes he'll come back with something that still doesn't make any sense to me, or seems to have been calculated mostly just to turn it to something that makes sense to him. And the fact of the matter is, I might even be doing the same thing and not realizing it, and he might be doing it and not realizing it. And so, both sort of realizing that, we had long for years talking about a project where we should be able to algorithmically and through a social algorithm, which might not be a well-defined term at this point. Oh, geez, that's coming right along. Might be able to determine a way to aggregate all the rhetoric and all the data, discussions and debate, and even find a way to measure and tally people's credibility and willingness to consider alternate ideas before deciding upon one. Things like that, to essentially create what I have called the debate engine, based on the premise that truth is truth. And while, yes, some truths are contextual, like, to say you need X, Y, and Z to live might be true. It's the truth of what that is going to be different. Whoa, okay. Let's say in the countryside than it is in the city. And yet they're both true even though they don't mesh together. So there are absolutely contextual truths, and the engine would have to be able to handle that. But at the same time, there are other truths, like, frankly, climate change and global warming is a truth. There is zero evidence against it, and there is a absolute ocean of evidence in support of it. That's somebody's town. I should probably, well, maybe not. I'm probably still in the neutral zone. Let's check it out then. There are thin neutral zones between all of the territories, and this one happens to be right on the axis, so it's quite easy to follow. Suppose I should put this on the map. Looks like a small village, though. Unless it hasn't loaded yet. No, there's more beyond. Okay. Hello, guys. Oh, good. Oh, this is a kind of a nice place. Other than people doing exactly that. However, well, if they're going to keep doing that and they don't need it for themselves, I might claim some of that food for myself. Oh, okay. I'm not the jumper I thought I was. Hell with it. I'll put some back. Even though they're going to stomp all over it. Hey, hello. Oh, crap, I stomped it. Or maybe not. Okay, cool. It didn't register. So, some nuggets of truth exist whether you like it or not. And there should be a way, I'll just leave that here then. There should be a way to figure out what those are algorithmically and through, because science is not a religion. It's not, God, I'm going far afield, aren't I? It's not a thing you have faith in. It is a self-abusing methodology that it constantly criticizes and critiques itself and tests itself and doubts itself so that whatever information has been found is eternally tested and eternally not taken for granted. And granted, human beings are involved, so that is not a flawless procedure. People's wants and desires do influence even scientists, but that's exactly why science is important, because science comes along and pokes holes in their desires and stuff. Recording, please. So science will not tolerate those flaws for very long, which is excellent. And I figure because this is essentially true, it should be possible to pour all the rhetoric and data that we have into the sieve, and even given the flawed nature of human beings, come together and find the truth that is buried in all that mess. And one of the other things is, when people have already invested their belief structure in a thing, they resist anything else, even if the other thing else happens to be true. So apparently Tuesday's episode is going to be about bigotry, and this is the scientific method, or truth. I'll call this one truth. So I guess I have to record 2 episodes. Maybe I should take notes before the bigotry one anyways, because I started off that way and I got I don't know what the word is. Not confused. Definitely uncertain. Regardless, I'm quite certain that if you apply the scientific method to debate, and you dump all the rhetoric and all the data into it, the method should still be applicable even when social and not necessarily scientific people are put, again, through a scientific grinder. It should still be able to result in finding eventually what that truth is. And what I believe is that well-meaning people who are certain they've already grown up on a particular belief and they're scared of the alternative and will resist learning about it, as I believe my friend is, and he probably believes I am, and we could both be right and wrong about that at the same time. Oh, another village. I didn't get the location of the last one. Well, it's half spawned. I'd better finish it. God, what am I getting at now? Well, the thing is, if this engine offers up the nuggets of truth that it does find in a way that allows people to find it themselves rather than have it shoved down their throat by someone who they haven't agreed with so far, but may in this one case happen to be right, then they're probably more willing to accept it, that they discovered this truth. And granted, it came up from this engine, but they did the work, they did the research. It came to them, they came to it. They're much more willing to accept it. It's a guess on my part, but I'm not sure that it's wrong, and it's worth trying. So, yeah, I guess that's the foundation of what I wanted to say. Too bad I don't have a silk touch. I've probably got enough sand. Well, I can get some more. So, trying to think. How do can I elaborate on that anymore? Oh, friggin' lag. What is up with this? It wasn't this bad before. Oh, did I miss anything? I think I've managed to leave the landscape in a believable shape after me. Man, this lag is horrible. Oh, one shot. Very nice. Hey! Oh my gosh. They're getting so close because of this lag. It's very hard to know where they really are. Alright. See, he appeared to be where he appeared to be. This guy, however, is way the hell off. I can't actually hit him. Piss off. Seriously, what the... Oh my gosh. Uh-oh. Crap. Well, free sand. Gosh, okay, so... Yeah, I guess I'll just have a short one tonight rather than unnecessarily bore you with this stuff. You know, deserts do occasionally have thunderstorms. It wouldn't be off the game's rocker to include that. Can I use this for anything? Oh, I can use that for dye, can't I? Okay, well, let's just call this then an episode on truth. Or the scientific method, though maybe more truth, and then use that as a lead into the thing on bigotry, because I'm a bit torn on the topic, not of bigotry. That's obviously bad, but as in the context of this Duck Dynasty stuff, and less to do with the guy who said it originally. Because I may end up having to defend him a little bit. Not his beliefs, but his tactics. However, the people who have shown up on the forums and on Imgur and stuff like that and talked about it have been much worse. And I think they will be what I'm talking about. When I come back again tomorrow for Tuesday's episode, Christmas Eve episode, bigotry. Oh, that's a great lineup. Okay, well, that's just the way it rolls, I guess. So, I don't even know what I'm doing out here anymore, but... Oh, well, have a good night, and have a good Christmas, damn it.